Boulder, Colorado, 1996. It is the day after Christmas in a city that looks like it, as if straight out of a postcard nestled against the majestic Rocky Mountains. This is the home of the Ramsey family: John, a wealthy businessman; Patsy, a former beauty queen; and their two children, Burke and 6-year-old jonbenet. Their life seems perfect, almost like a fairy tale. Jonbenet, with her sparkling smile and pageant trophies, is the shining star of this seemingly idyllic family. But in the quiet, early hours of December 26th, that fairy tale would turn into a living nightmare. Patsy Ramsey wakes up, walks down the grand staircase of her home, and finds something that makes her blood run cold. It's not her daughter, who isn't in her bed, but a piece of paper. A note. A long, bizarre 3-page ransom note demanding a very specific sum of money: $118,000. Curiously, this was the exact amount of a recent work bonus John Ramsey had received. The note is filled with strange phrases and a chilling warning. Don't call the police. If you do, your daughter will die. But in a state of pure panic, Patsy does the only thing a mother in her situation could think to do. She dials 911. That frantic, desperate call, replayed countless times in the years to come, would mark the beginning of one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in American history. When the Boulder police arrive at the sprawling Ramsey home, the investigation begins on a disastrously wrong foot. Operating under the assumption that this is a kidnapping, they fail to treat the house as a crime scene. The front door is left open. Friends, family, and even a victim's advocate are allowed to come and go, walking all over the house, making coffee in the kitchen or tidying up. They are trying to offer comfort, but in reality they are contaminating potential evidence, erasing footprints, and smudging fingerprints. Every passing hour feels like an eternity. There's no call from the supposed kidnappers, no further contact. The elaborate instructions in the ransom note lead nowhere. The house is full of people, yet feels completely empty without the presence of the little girl at the center of it all. As the morning wears on with no news, a detective suggests that John Ramsey do one last thorough search of the house himself. Perhaps they missed something. John, accompanied by a family friend, heads down to the basement. It's a part of the house they rarely use. He opens the door to a small, windowless wine cellar, and there his search comes to a horrific end. He finds his daughter, jonbenet. She's wrapped in her favorite white blanket. Her wrists are loosely bound above her head, and a piece of duct tape is covering her mouth. He immediately rips the tape off and carries her body upstairs, screaming. In that moment of pure paternal grief, the crime scene is further disturbed. The blanket is moved, the body is transported. Critical evidence is altered forever, right before the investigators' eyes. The discovery of jonbenet's body inside the house changes everything. This is no longer a kidnapping, it's a murder. And the crime scene is deeply perplexing. Jonbenet had suffered a severe skull fracture, but the cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation. A makeshift garrote, fashioned from a nylon cord and the broken handle of one of Patsy's paintbrushes, had been used to strangle her. The combination of a brutal blow to the head and this elaborately constructed weapon was baffling. It suggested both a sudden, violent rage and a cold, calculated staging of the scene. With the body found just feet from where the family had been all morning, suspicion immediately falls on those inside the house. The police start to theorize that the ransom note wasn't from a kidnapper at all, but was a diversion, a red herring written by someone trying to cover up an accidental death. The story explodes in the media. The image of the beautiful, blonde child beauty queen becomes inescapable. News channels play her pageant videos on a loop, the footage of her dancing and smiling in elaborate costumes and makeup, creating a sensational and often unsettling narrative. The public becomes obsessed and deeply divided. Was this a tragic story of wealthy parents who lost their child to a brutal intruder? Or was it something far more sinister, a dark secret hidden behind the perfect facade of the Ramsey family? The theories multiply. Some point the finger at John and Patsy, dissecting their every word and action for clues of guilt. Others whisper about her older brother, Burke, suggesting a childhood argument that spiraled tragically out of control. And then there's the intruder theory, a meticulous predator who managed to infiltrate a secure home, commit a horrific crime, and vanish without a trace. For years, John and Patsy Ramsey live under a suffocating cloud of public suspicion. They maintain their innocence through relentless media scrutiny and police interrogations, but for many, they remain the primary suspects. The case seems to grow colder with each passing year, a tangled mess of contaminated evidence, conflicting theories, and unanswered questions. The investigation stalls. It feels like the world will never know what truly happened to JonBenet. But then, more than a decade after her death, a stunning development emerges from the forensic evidence. In 2003, investigators managed to build a full DNA profile from a minuscule drop of blood found on JonBenet's underwear. This DNA belongs to an unknown male and does not match John, Burke, or any other member of the Ramsey family. This DNA evidence is a bombshell. In 2008, based on this finding, the Boulder District Attorney's Office takes the extraordinary step of formally clearing the Ramsey family of any involvement in their daughter's death. The letter of apology they receive is a public exoneration, but it comes too late for Patsy Ramsey, who passed away from cancer 2 years earlier, never having seen her name officially cleared. The DNA discovery pivots the entire investigation. The intruder theory, once dismissed by many, suddenly seems terrifyingly plausible. The focus shifts to finding the unknown male whose genetic fingerprint was left at the scene of the crime. But who is he? Despite testing the DNA against hundreds of potential suspects and running it through national databases, there has never been a match. Today, more than a quarter of a century later, the case of JonBenet Ramsey remains unsolved. The key pieces of the puzzle, the strange ransom note, the homemade garrote, the conflicting injuries, and that tiny, crucial sample of unknown male DNA, have been analyzed and debated by experts and armchair detectives alike. But they've never fit together to form a clear picture. The story is a chilling lesson in how a compromised investigation in its very first hours can have devastating consequences that ripple out for decades. It's a mystery that has become part of the American cultural landscape, a haunting reminder that sometimes the most heartbreaking questions are destined to go unanswered, and justice remains forever out of reach. Thank you so much for watching. This is a case that has captivated and frustrated people for so long, and it's a true tragedy that JonBenet and her family have never received the answers they deserve. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into compelling stories. We'll see you in the next one.